Barbados, sweet paradise, but the politricksters, full of lies. They want mash up the culture, tear it to the ground, but the people, we stand strong, we hold the rock down. Wake up my people, shake up, wake up my people, shake up, wake up my people, shake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up my people, shake up, wake up my people, shake up, wake up my people, shake up. It's time to rise, time to see clear, time to open we eyes. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you don't mind. Real news for the people in real time. Enough love, enough respect. Welcome to politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Enough love, enough respect. Welcome to politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Wake up my people, shake up, wake up my people, shake up, wake up my people, shake up. Hey! Wake up, wake up my people, shake up, wake up my people, shake up, wake up my people, shake up. Wake up.
Wake up. Yes, greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Wazir Menin. Y'all already know, man, one perfect balance. Greetings and welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct, and if we're not correct, feel free to correct us. That's all I'm saying. Just feel free to correct us. What an amazing day. I mean, today was just super, super, super amazing. It's been amazing a lot lately, been really hectic a lot lately. So I don't get to divide myself into two. I don't have a clone, so I can't be multiple places at the same time. But I give thanks for the opportunity to be where I need to be when I need to be where I'm at that time. So I want to say thanks for those who tune in, logged on. Go tell a friend and tell a friend. Y'all already know. I got to pop this stuff up. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can put it in place real quick. I know it's here somewhere if I could find them. I was told to tell you, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe. Yes, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend for sure. Whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Politically Incorrect page. Let me put this on silent. Otherwise, it's just going to be going off like crazy. But yeah, today's been definitely one of those kind of days. But I got some questions I want to answer, man. Okay, so I went back to the QEH a couple of days ago to check on my elder, see how he doing. Another conversation. But I'm gonna update you in a minute as to what happened, man. I ran into some, individuals again, and shout out to Jarvis, by the way. Good people. See if I can get some eyes in the sky. Ay. Really? Let me see here. Oh man, I can't with this guy. I can't. Not getting caught up in the back and forth between political. I can't even find my page. I'm looking for it and can't find it. Okay, Politically Incorrect. See what happens. Is this it? Oh, yeah, got it. Okay, that was weird. Listen, is it me or a lot of weird things been happening when it comes to technology, especially the phones? And I'm not going to say it's been since they've been tapping the phones, because they've been tapping the phones. Like, since they announced they're tapping the phones, like they got an upgrade in the technology or something. like, I just want to ask a question. Y'all can help me here. I have this one contact in my phone. I won't call the name. And I got the contact from the individual. I put it in the phone. I saved the name and I put my little, emoji to identify it, you know, and I would use it. But then I noticed the individual called me and then it would just be the number. And I'm like, this is weird. And when I checked the contact has been, there's no contact in my phone. It's just a number. So, I went ahead to figure out maybe I did something. And I went ahead and I changed it and put the name back in. And a couple weeks passed and happened again. I go to person calling, it's like just a number. I'm like, this is kind of why. Anyhow, so I went ahead and then I did put it back in, figuring this is a bit weird. So I put it back in and saved it again as a contact with a name. And lo and behold, a little time passed. And usually it happens after we have a phone conversation, generally, shortly after. Maybe a day, maybe two. And recently I got a call again. I'm chatting. I even asked the question jokingly, like, how comes your number, like, what up? What kind of device you got? You got people in the constabulary that I don't know. Anyhow, sure enough, the name got gone again. And I'm thinking, why you think that would happen, man? Put your comments below and let me see if I can get some insight from my people and let me know what's going on, man. But before we get going tonight, let me shout out Jackie for sure. Big shout out to Jackie. Greetings, family. You know how it is already, politically incorrect. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Emmanuel, you showed your real height. You funny. This guy right here. Sean, what's up, man? What's up? I ran into Sean in the supermarket. He says to me, man, you real tall, yeah. I tell Sean, it just be looking that way on camera, man. But a lot of people think I'm actually pretty short because of the camera angle, and that's done deliberately in some cases, But Sean, I'm Anunnaki, that kind of thing going on. The tall ones, man. Those who know, who don't know, well, it is. But Empress, greetings, family. Shout out to the family. Shout out to Fade family, Barbados National Congress family. Y'all already know. Good evening, brethren and all. Elder Maycock, what's up, man? Greetings to you too, all day, every day. We got some questions tonight, though. Is there a bacteria outbreak at the QEH? If you know somebody and their family who may have, had a run-in with the QEH, we have some stuff to discuss. Y'all know anything about sepsis? Just a quick question. I got some questions to answer about that in a minute. But we're going to get into that in a minute. Daffodil. I got to give you a big shout out just because, you've been doing good things, doing great works. See what you've been doing. And give thanks for the energy, the synergy. Let me close these other windows. Shut this one down too. All right, cool. You and the family, big respect always, all day, every day. He said Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, shared your contacts. But that's just it, though. If it was happening in many different contacts, Sean, I could understand. I could fully oversight charge, right? Saying happening, but it's just this one individual. I'm beginning to wonder. But anyhow, Sean, I don't know. I don't know if it's Mark Zuckerberg, the Meta crew. But anyhow, y'all heard the recent announcements. Like, we was on here talking about stuff on Christmas night, not knowing that by morning we would find out that this guy then sent some missiles or, exploded some facilities in Nigeria out the blue. And I heard earlier today, they officially confirmed it, that they apparently did blow some stuff up as well in Venezuela. So it has, in a sense, begun. Not that we're not focusing on that, but see, at home, there are things we got to get right at home. Now, there's a lot of talk in social media about elections and, who to vote for, to my knowledge, I don't have no recollection of ever coming on here and telling anybody to vote for A, B, C, or D. my thing is balance as best I can, because I'm thinking that people want a perspective. Just a perspective is just my point of view. But the information that I come across, the information that I'm, that might find its way into my arms, in my hands in some cases, might be so critical to national security. I think we need to have a discussion about it. So Politically Incorrect was started on the basis that we would have a platform for those who don't normally have a voice to be able to have a voice. And I remember it started out, especially during COVID, because of the nurses, especially. I mean, another different reasons, but it's especially the nurses. I wasn't aware the nurses didn't even have health insurance. I mean, like, you had to get your own private health insurance. And I would like to think that nurses who's working in an environment that is exposed to all kind of stuff basically would be somehow given some sort of preferential treatment regarding, care. That is not the case. That is not the case. But anyhow, there's some other issues going on. And before I go too deep into this tonight, first I want to say, I guess, to the family, friends, colleagues, associates, the young man, Vin Cherubin is his name. I hope I pronounced it right. He recently transitioned. An employer of the employee, from the QEH, apparently passed away for medical complications. I'm trying to choose my words carefully because his situation is a bit sensitive from what I'm understanding. So I don't want to say too much about that. But to my knowledge, his service is supposed to be this weekend, on Saturday. But the circumstances, what I'm hearing, like I said, what I'm hearing, I don't know if what I'm hearing is indeed, based on facts. Let me put it that way. And the facts is that the staff at the hospital now, are also now susceptible to issues at the hospital. Then we have a real issue. I mean, it's been an issue. It's clearly been an issue. It's for quite some time, and it has not gotten addressed. I remember this guy came in, Mr. Clark, he had great ambitions on fixing the QE. His thing was, we're going to fix this issue. I worked in international hospitals all over the world, Dubai and stuff, all these different places, wherever he was supposed to be, I don't know. But these mega countries or whatever, with their mega dollars, it's easy to facilitate that. And I was having this conversation too. I'm thinking it makes sense. It's easier to fix the issues when you have a checkbook that you can go ahead and write check and there's resources. Well, like I said, I went to the hospital again a couple of nights ago, and shout out to Richard, by the way. Greetings to you too, and all the mighty beings here, man. He said it might be a glitch in the matrix. Nah, there ain't no glitch in the matrix. That's itching somebody's hand. Somebody, I don't know, man, deleting my stuff, trying to, I don't know, send a message. Shout out to Noel as well. I see you, Noel. Greetings to you and greetings to all as well. He said those apps show people who you are related to you because because both people have the same numbers on the contact list. Yeah, well, I ain't getting that's not what's happening, Sean. This contact is being deleted from my contact list. So that's why it comes back as a number and not a name. But anyhow, let me say this, man. When we started the program, it was about the voice of the voiceless. And so since then, a lot of things would have came to the surface through this platform. And so I'm always happy and thankful for people who would tune in and seek to bring the light. And so not everybody is on Facebook. So we started a YouTube channel. And YouTube has grown into its own being, period. Perhaps different crowd, different age group. But yet the same thing, people who have concerns and they ask for advice, ask for opinion, and we have conversations. Speaking of which, my number is generally on the screen. Let me just go ahead and put that up. I was thinking about making tonight an open program where folks want to call in. They probably can if they have someone in a situation or know someone in a situation in the hospital regarding sepsis and whatever else. The information I'm going to share tonight is information that was compiled over a period of time. And I'll tell you what, and I'll add to it. When I went there a couple of nights ago again, recognizing this pay more attention, of course, to the gurney situation that I told you about in the previous program. It's actually a lot worse than I thought. Now, it's a whole new facility, the A&E, whole new facility, and there's new switches, new lights, new curtains, new windows, new doors, new toilets, new sinks, new soap dispensary, new paper dispensary, new chairs, new locks. I would like to think there should be some new beds. So I'm wondering, were beds ordered for A&E when this project was done? I think it was a few $1 million. I think it was done by one of the minister's husbands, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Cattle. And I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, politically incorrect, correct me, my number on the screen. But my question is, were beds ordered for the QEH accident and emergency institution, because that facility there, because they're in the beds and there's plenty of gurneys and people sleeping on the floor and all kind of stuff because they're sitting in the chair. Because they make you wait in these chairs. And the thing is this, and for some reason, these chairs are not the most comfortable chairs. So my thing is, while you're waiting out there in the most uncomfortable chair for hours, not feeling well, of course, they can't provide beds for everyone. Then you get to go inside and sit in a chair again for even a longer period of time. And if you do get a bed, it's a bed that's probably even more uncomfortable than the chair. And it's like, how is this conducive towards better health? Not sure. Sitting down there, A&E, for 2, 3, 4 days on a gurney, bed sores, what comes to mind? Like bed sores. You go into the hospital with one issue and you're collecting all kind of other issues while you're there to get professional care. Something is wrong. Mr. Clark, not sure if you're paying attention. I sincerely hope someone sends this to you. What's going on in A&E? Like, we want to update. We want to update. Here's some solutions. You recently opened a polyclinic across the street. My thing is, why stretch the resources? Why not take the resources that are being put on the polyclinic, if it's the case of easing the tension in A&E, and strengthen A&E? I mean, it's a whole new facility. The previous one was small and couldn't contain the amount of people that were coming through it. And y'all design a new one. I would like to think you design it with the capacity also in mind, as opposed to making it smaller. I am not sure whose decisions were these, but this is something that I am questioning. Why not? I mean, the polyclinic, okay, fine, but there's some things you're going to have to come back to the hospital for. The back and forth isn't necessary. So I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I just think that a lot more needs to be put into the hospital as a whole, definitely A&E, because I think the staff is overworked, underpaid. In fact, some staff members are not being paid. In fact, some staff members are given a job title. Wait, hold on a second, man. Let me start this ball rolling. Let me see if we can add this to the stage. So the QEH hospital, yeah, I'm going to do it. So this is done. This is a letter by the HR, the director of HR, Mrs. Smith. And it's a letter to one of the quote unquote general workers. I am directed by the Board of Management of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital to approve your temporary employment to the post of general worker for the period of so on and so forth, so on. It also goes on to say your salary will be X amount by monthly. You will be subject to this is the part that got me. You'll be subject to the provision as set out in the terms and conditions of service document, and to any administrative, directive that may be put in force by the QEH board from time to time. So you're a general worker, so you got to do anything they tell you pretty much, which is funny because I doubt they're going to tell you to do surgery. But nevertheless, here's the thing though. This temporary employment does not convey any entitlement to a permanent appointment and may be terminated by 1 day's notice on either side. Right. Interestingly enough. So basically, man, I thought they were appointing people who've been in positions for a period of time, over several amount of years. A lot of folks who are working in the hospital since COVID for a while now, for at least 4 or 5 years, who been on this general workers, but have graduated and working in different capacities at higher levels, but still as a general worker because they're being paid as a general worker. But the term general worker is so, vague. Like it's how they trap you into exploiting you, overworking you, and underpaying you. So when you overwork and underpay people, what do you think gonna happen? There are people in the hospital who can work and give their all to the service. I am sure of it. I'm sure there's folks who can work and look the shirt and cut corners and just get paid for nothing because after all, you exploiting them as it is. So they tell themselves, man, I can't be bothered. But guess what? Guess who suffers as a result of that? The people who come seeking immediate and emergency help. We got to do better, family. We got to do better. And that's just the bottom line. We can't play this game. Speaking of doing better, it starts at the top. So let's take a look at it. Now, the question I ask is there a bacteria outbreak at the QEH? No, I don't even know if I should start this ball rolling like this, but I got some questions. It has been brought to my attention that apparently now for quite some time, there's been bacteria that's in the water at the QEH. And this particular bacteria, and I'll give you the name in a minute when I conjure up the courage to pronounce the name. This particular bacteria apparently could be a bit menacing. It's not an ordinary bacteria. It's actually found in the water and stuff of that nature. So I got some info here I'm going to pull up. Let me see if I can find it. See if I can share this here real quick. You know me, I ain't even playing it. Let me share this tab here. Oh. We're going to share this screen now. This should be interesting in a minute. To the screen. Yeah. Okay, there you go. And now you see where I went. I went to headquarters. Wait a minute. I went to headquarters on this one. Because see, I don't want to pull up some page and then you say, well, I ain't know that that ain't real or whatever. This is an official website of the United States government. You know what I'm saying? This is the CDC. And so this particular bacteria, what is it? Burkholderia capacia, something along them lines. The thing is this though, this particular bacteria, from my understanding, is not necessarily harmful to the average person who has good health. It's in fact Burkholderia capacia complex, also called B. capacia or BCC, is a group of bacteria that can cause infections in healthcare settings. Good infections control practices, including around the use of water, can help reduce infection risks. But this is the thing. Oh, by the way, this particular bacteria germs can be resistant to antibiotics, making them difficult to treat. I want to talk about some of the symptoms as well, just to put it out there. They say, what is it? Burkholderia capacia complex BCC is a group of bacteria commonly found in soil and water. Symptoms vary, ranging from no symptoms to serious respiratory infections, especially in patients with septic fibrosis or other chronic lung disease. Other symptoms may include fever, fatigue, that kind of stuff. So here's the at-risk population. This pertains to the United States, but I'm sure this applies to anybody, anywhere. People in healthcare settings and those with weakened immune systems or chronic lung disease, particularly, like I said, cystic fibrosis, are at highest risk of infections with this particular bacteria. It poses little medical risk to healthy people. So basically, once you good, you pretty much should be all right. How it spread. Now, this is what got me here now, because I was thinking, well, if this is in the hospital right now, in our QEH hospital, and people are dying, and they're telling you, oh, they had pneumonia, or they had lung infections. What they're not telling you is what triggered it or what caused it. So the average person going to the hospital to see their loved one that was there good yesterday and come out today, oh, they passed away last night. I mean, it must be painful. Then you get the coroner report and they say, oh, well, it was pneumonia or lung infection, whatever. They don't necessarily give you the details as to what triggered it or what bacteria, what caused it. Well, you need to start answering questions, because if you don't ask questions, you ain't going to get the right answer. Because what I'm thinking is, if this is indeed true, just a question, if this is indeed true, wouldn't that be like a class action against the QEH? The amount of people who would have been who would have transitioned, and the families would have been told that they died from sepsis and or lung infection or some other something that linked directly to a bacteria that might have caused it. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Nobody didn't say enough about this. How it spread? Exposure from water. I mean water. I mean like the water in the QEH and the pipes. What are you drinking? What are you washing your hands with? Wait, hold on a minute. Water, soil. But wait a minute. If this is indeed true, contact with contaminated surfaces, contact with contaminated equipment, person-to-person transmission. Well, this sounds a little similar, you know. More commonly in patients with cystic fibrosis. Okay. This is CDC. Let me just hold on. Let me just go ahead and copy this particular link. I'm going to put that link in the comments for those who want to go and read up more about it. If you have family in the hospital right now, peoples, all I'm saying is that we got to pay more. Again, we got to pay more attention. We can no longer just sit back and accept what we're being told. There's a young man, I used to refer to him as Google Boss. If you all remember who Google Boss is, if you're new to this page, you might not remember who Google Boss is. And that would not be being derogatory. It was just that I noticed whenever there was a question asked, random, not like the scripted ones, but a random question, you know, it would always be, well, let me look into that and get back to you. So I just made the assumption that he had to Google it. So I just was in reference to his behavior. But there was a young man that was given praise for his work during the, you know, that situation with the other thing that happened the other day. You know what I mean? And that was quite interesting. But nevertheless, there's a question or two I like to ask, because if this particular bacteria is an outbreak in the hospital for true and it's found in the water, it's practically harmful, I mean, to the patients with weakened immune systems. Well, shouldn't the hospital be taking precaution to safeguard its patients? I mean, shouldn't the family be notified that there's a situation in the hospital that we're working on, and when you come to visit as well, there's some things you should be considering and be very mindful of? I don't know if it's just me or me overthinking or overshooting this. It would have to be a significant problem, because infectious, in terms of the resistance to antibiotics and stuff like that, I mean, it's as if, well, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to treat it? And how long has this been going on? Let me check the comments, guys. See, they're piling up here rather quickly. I don't want to get them too far, because then I'll be trying to get through all, and that takes like forever. But if this is going to be difficult to treat and has already led to severe illnesses in the hospital as we speak, and perhaps in some cases death, should not the hospital be, or the people in charge of the hospital, or the people in charge of infectious diseases in the hospital, working 24/7, keeping the public abreast as to how they plan to eradicate this thing from within the healthcare system that's already crippling as a result of funds and mismanagement and that kind of stuff? Man, I don't know how that's going to work out. Plus, wait, hold on. Let me check these comments real quick, man. Hold on, man. See what I'm telling you? I can't keep up. I got to go back now and try to catch up. Might be my recommendation for fixing the QEH. The first thing, Noel who said the first thing that is the name. All right, Noel, we know the QEH is Queen Elizabeth. All right, we can't. I mean, a little paint will fix that. There's a lady that they should name it after who was big in the hospital back in the days, helping people and whatnot. I don't recall her name right now. We would have spoken about it before. But yeah, no, we were ahead of that one, man. The name QEH carry a blight, sinful colonizer's name. BIM is a republic, change your name. Well, we could change your name too, Noel. I don't mind that, but I'm more interested in the health aspect. We could always put paint and write on something, but the health right now, Noel, give me some ideas on how we should fix this bacteria issue, along with the missing beds, along with God knows whatever else. Don't listen to Clark. The hospital is the hospital in his homeland are in dire strait. Why he not working there? Where is he? Where he's paid better? Ask him why. Oh man, I don't even sure. I don't even know where he's from. But that's an interesting point. I always avoid the hospital at all costs. Listen, Daffodil. Let me tell you all something, family. Let me say this. If you do not listen, this is not the time to be getting ill, okay? This is the time to drink your bush, get your rosemary, and put in your food, get your Cersei bush, get your blue vervain. Start planting herbs around the house and just drinking tea periodically. This is not the time. And not the time. This letter is called appointment. When I worked there, I got those. That's so you can be paid. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. You got people working that not getting paid, man. Greetings to you, Mr. Drakes. Greetings, upfulness, kings and queens. Greetings to you and the family. Greetings and salutations, all in one to you too. General workers can mean anything. That's my point, Sean. That's my point, man. General workers is a maid, etc. You see, my thing with that though is I can't mean etc. because I've seen people work in a capacity that are very helpful in the hospital and should be given some degree of. You can't deal with them as a maid sweeping and mopping, and they're doing administrative work. It just does not seem fair. They're doing administrative work, but you telling me that they're supposed to sweep, mop, out garbage as well? Why don't count the garbage too? Or pick up a mop and sweep and a broom and sweep on the mop and mop? So nah. We gonna call it how we see it, man. That's deplorable. No job security for the employee and no sense of responsibility on the part of the employer. Well, the CEO, Mr. Clark, said he was going to fix the hospital. And I don't know what's going on, but our bacteria running rampant in the hospital, people getting ill, people dying, people being misdiagnosed, people families are being told they died from something else, when in truth and in fact, it might be a bacteria. This sounds like a class action lawsuit. I'm telling you, man. And quite frankly, before tonight out, I want to tell you something at the end of tonight's program or near the end of tonight's program. I don't know, Miss Montley, if you're listening, you're going to need to listen. I hope one of y'all call and tell her because she's going to need to hear this. Direct message. I keep telling y'all, man, you think I'm playing? Mr. Clark will be packing his bags quite soon because since this takeover, matters have gotten worse. He's being paid well to get a suntan, man. Look, I seriously never heard about that species of bacteria before. Yeah, that's my thing. Sounds real interesting, right, Sean? Very interesting. But I know virologists and nothing like that, so I'm sure there are different illnesses. In fact, this particular bacteria was known before as began with a P. I don't remember the name, but my research it came up like that. I'll let you know. I hated it when educated country like Barbados go outside to hire them outsiders to manage Black people. Why are we educating our people for? Why are we educating our people for? They do it in the hotels too. Sad. Yeah, I feel you. They're trying to avoid panic. Well, Sean, in an effort to avoid panic, it would make sense to fix the problem as quick as possible and bring an awareness so folks can take the proper necessary steps in terms of their hygiene and being cautious. Might actually go a long way in resolving that as well. But by not telling people what's going on and then, things hit the fan, Well, good night to you too, Maureen. Greetings to you. Greetings to the family as well. Take filter water to your people in the hospital. You all know 98% of all sicknesses is caused by dirty oh man, by contaminated water from the pipes in the homes and hospitals. It's crazy. Barbados Water Authority getting licks, man. Getting licks. Shout out to the Moors, man. Peace, peace. Islam, man. Ras, that hospital was deleting people by mistake for years. Wow. Change the name and people will feel better. Of that place. I listen, I am also someone who subscribed to that, Noel, honestly. I fully do, and I endorse the name changing. I fully endorse the name change. Shout to the elder as well. Greetings to the people in Atlanta, ATL locked on, New York locked on, Canada locked on. Man, I think that at this point, though, Noel, the focus has to be more in terms of the health as well. The name is psychological, and I'm sure that will go a long way as well. And we could do it perhaps in a symbiotic way. But for sure, I think that at this point, we need to get this health thing checked out because this is serious. I think at this point, they need to call in the CDC to check what's going on in the hospital. Because if there's bacteria running through the pipe system, the water columns, and into the kitchen where they're cooking the food, and I mean, it just the showers and look something wrong, man, and they just can't sweep this onto the rug, Her name was Nurse Ford, sweet old lady. Yeah, if that's the same lady, I think then that we do have a name we can name. We always quick to want to name something after somebody in Barbados. Well, let's name it after someone in Barbados. I mean, the QEH, just the term. Just the term, I know. Many patients at the hospital will have weakening immune systems from the mere fact that they are ill. I agree, e.g. cancer patients, respiratory diseases, autoimmune illnesses, elderly, and children. But that's just the thing, though, Maureen. This thing then going to another level where now, from what I'm understanding, it's also, it's not all over the hospital, but it is in some specific wards. Certain places is more, is more infected than others. And so something going on. And from what I was told, what I'm understanding is that the children's ward is one of those wards as well. Of course, there's A&E and there's the ICU. Imagine you in ICU, in special ICU, and you got to guard yourself. You got to guard yourself, man. Like what I like to think that's the head place it shouldn't be. But that's the head place it is. So post me all those things, all those herbs. I agree. I totally agree. I have a gentleman and a lady who do herbs and stuff. Maybe we should bring them on tonight, let them do a tour, we do a video for their garden and discuss the herbs and stuff. Not that I'm giving medical advice, just as a caveat here, because it is nowadays. I would assume that anyone with a weak immune system is at risk, and close monitoring and management should be paramount. Of course, the hospital that was in St. Lucie would be ideal for isolation at this time. Well, you know what, man? I think that did they close on the hospital in St. Lucie? Like, question: did the hospital in St. Lucie close? People, somebody let me know if that was the case. Did they close the hospital in St. Lucie down? Because if they did, let me know in the comments if they did. Right now, the situation in hospital, I mean, you're gonna have to question the leadership, especially the expertise of this infection control. Now, there's a particular guy, like I said, that controls that whole aspect, and the clinician right now, that's one in charge of the infections or the control at the QEH. I don't know if he's aware, if he knows how to, if he's equipped, if he's capable, if he doesn't have Chat GPT to check it. Maybe he should check Chat GPT to see if he could find a solution to fix this issue. It is critical for someone right now, further concerned with the right expertise and experience to handle this outbreak, especially at the magnitude that it's at. But if it is a case where he's unclear, then you would think that he would step aside and say, well, look, I ain't really sure what's going on, Look, I really ain't sure, but this thing sounds dangerous, and I'm going to see if I can reach out to somebody who might have some skills, because otherwise it should point to the concerns regarding leadership. It should. The question is if he qualified, the clinician, if he's qualified and equipped to manage the infection. If not, again, this is not like, something simple. This sounds like it could be a disaster waiting to happen. Like I said, the young man that recently transitioned, it is interesting that he too worked at the same hospital and got exposed to some things, and perhaps we need to take a knee and check the balances and see what's going on in the hospital, because the hospital infection control efforts seem to be lacking, and the outbreak persists with no clear resolution in sight. The public awareness and transparency is one of the things that would help and should help. Like we said earlier, transparency is obviously not there, because if it was a transparency thing, if this is the case, the public would know. I wish somebody from the hospital would send a message and let me know this is so, because I'm being told this is what's going on. Somebody, corroborate this information. Let me know. Because right now, the lack of transparency about the outbreak is what really is my question, because visitors and new patients are still being allowed into affected wards that they know for a fact are infected. Miss Motley, I don't know. The QEH, like we could face in a class action, man. I'm telling you, man, that ain't going to sit well. You thought your brother's situation was an issue. I'm telling you, man. I don't know. This right now increasing the risk of further contaminations, It's important for the public to be informed about the situation so they can take necessary precaution. I think that's what's necessary. Additionally, patients who may already be at risk of being exposed to these harmful and life-threatening pathogens at this point, man, y'all got to do something about this. You can't just leave it. That ain't gonna work. You know what? The Nation newspaper is supposed to be like, I shouldn't even say that. There's obviously no journalism going on in Barbados. There's reporting, but not journalism. Because if they're journalists at the QE, at the Nation, these are the papers. How comes you don't see these? How comes you don't see these kind of stories? Maybe they'll come out after the fact, because they might watch Politically Incorrect, and they'll get they'll look into it. I hope they do. Man, the public needs to know what's going on. In order to protect both the patients as well as the visitors who are going to the hospital, they need to know what's going on. I think also that the fact that they're trying to, if this is what's going on and they're trying to cover it up, then the cover up is a clear indication that they know it's a problem. And if it's a cover up, they know that people can potentially sue the hospital because their families are dying in the hospital, not because they're ill, because they go in there, they get a bacteria that's in the hospital, the building itself, and the infrastructure of the building, and that's compromising their respiratory system and causing them to die. And so when you're being told, it's sepsis, and the truth is, what particular bacteria caused it? And if so, where did it originate from? Where is it coming from? Is there a bacteria outbreak at the QEH? If so, tell the people of Barbados we can handle it. Barbadians are resilient people. For the most part, most folk don't even care, except for the fat, folly, and food and fun, I suppose. But at the core, there are people, genuine people here who actually care about the condition and the direction the country is going in. This nation called Barbados. So we gonna handle it, man. Put it out there, we'll figure out what to do. And not, you can always, look into maybe if there was a case where there was a previous situation like this, we can contact those individuals and perhaps then have a dialogue and ask a question like, There's an old African saying here: if you want to know what's on the road up ahead, you answer one returning. So if there's situations where this has happened before, and there are people who are aware of this and know how to manage this, then why we in contacting these individuals and asking questions? Let me check this comment here real quick. I would like to think that we paying attention. I would like to think so. Although I recognize immense problems from with the QEH, I must tell you that as a patient, the QEH has saved my life on too many occasions. So I still have faith in the institution. No. I don't get me wrong, Maureen. Like I said, I started by telling you, man. I know for a fact QEH got good people putting in work. I know that for a fact. So we're not questioning the good people putting in work. We question those who not working for the benefit of the whole institution, and therefore, compromising the integrity of the institution. For those who recognize there's a problem and they expose their colleagues and other staff members, patients, and family, and to perhaps life-threatening illnesses, that ain't right. On no level, that ain't right at all. Shout out to Frank Lowe, man. How you doing, family? Greetings to you. Haven't heard the program for a while. You back now? Nah, I ain't back now, man. Frank, I ain't never left. I was putting in work. You might got to go on the YouTube channel and click through and see what's going on, because Facebook deletes the live now after 30 days. It don't stay up. And I don't even go ahead and re-upload them and none of that stuff. You can check it on YouTube. I ain't chasing no shows, social media. We got work to do. A lot has to be said, but a lot more has to be done, man. Hospital always had bacteria infection. They just keep it on the low and close wards towards families. The unfortunate part, though, Daffodil, that people end up dying. I think unnecessarily so too. I think that should be for grave concern. This man, main thing at the QEH is to digitize the records and to expand the morgue and open new grave. Yeah, depopulation is to reach 29,000 from 304,000 to get the WHO, WEF, Bill Gates check. Well, if their aim is to reduce the population, leaving the hospital with an infectious bacteria like this in the pipeline, in the pipe system, or in contaminated equipment, that kind of stuff, it would definitely, work towards that. I would sincerely hope that you are not accurate in your prediction there, but if that is the case, man, we the people got work to do. Going there, you need to know someone in there to help you. Sometimes you have to pay for proper care. Well, I like what you said, Daffodil, because that's what I'm going to encourage Barbadians to do in the time being. If there's a bacteria outbreak in QEH and you can't afford it, because you can't afford not to get sick, but you couldn't afford it, so you got sick. Now you got to go. Well, I want to recommend that you try to go somewhere if you can, if it is possible, other than, unfortunately, like I said, try the clinics, polyclinics or private practices. But the QEH has been an institution that has been a light in Barbados for many. And it has also been an institution that had been a not so pleasant memory for others. And although we can sit and debate the two, I'm not interested in that. All I'm saying is I'm asking the question, is there a bacteria outbreak in the QEH? The people of Barbados would like to know. And if so, let it be known. Because here's the deal, right? The staff know what's going on. The staff knows what is going on. Miss Montley, if you're listening, the staff knows what's going on. If there's truly an outbreak, how long y'all think it gonna take before it really get out of hand and people say enough is enough and decide to, worst case scenario, I won't even want to tell you what the worst case scenario. I can tell a little later, I promise. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me get this here first. What else we got here? Hold on. The comments. I know. I trying to see if I can pull them up. Sure said. Hold on. Maureen said Bajans need to open their eyes, their ears, and lastly their mouth. Don't just accept what you are being told. If it doesn't feel or look right, chances are something is wrong. Noel and Sean is going at it. So Marcus would go the cheapest route, which is to import food. We even import flour. Well, Sean, I like to think that, we gonna figure it out, man. Like I said, we are resilient people, and Barbados and Barbadians will figure out what's going on. And that's the case. We're not gonna let it go down like that. We're gonna figure out what's happening, man. So but this particular bacteria is a mean one. I don't know if it was always here or it showed up recently or post COVID. I don't know. But I have had to go head to head with many senior medical staff to get the appropriate and timely care that I deserve for myself or my relatives. And that happens sometimes. And I've had my run-ins as well. And like I said, there's some folks who would see that an interaction and come to your rescue, like, okay, I'll take care of this. Let me help you. And they will resolve it peacefully. But understand that the staff is overworked in most cases. Frustration, they're human. So you mustn't personalize it. Therefore, give them a break to some degree, because as far as I'm concerned, like I said, there are a lot of good people I know for a fact working in the QEH making sport, but I also know that they overwork, man, and perhaps unappreciated in some cases, especially when it comes to HR. I think HR is a whole special program by itself, from what I'm understanding. This, the human resource department, especially the people who might be spearheading that. Man, security. Why would hospital staff need security escort? I mean, they act like they're the prime minister, and the prime minister don't even take security escort. She bought the place all over, like when she feel like, with no problem. I'm sure she probably got the blicky in the bag, but I don't know. You mess around, you'll find out. But I don't know, man. There's a super bug up here in the US. Many people are traveling to Barbados. You never know who is who, and what they're traveling with. I get you. Right now, there's something stirring around here that people are going in and coughing and the chest pain, and then I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it, Noel. I'm seeing it. Believe you me. That's why it says stop Noel, stop being petty. This is a serious matter. Who cares about the names? If it's renamed me and Montley Hospital and the care is the same, would that make you happy? Yeah, but no, I get where he's coming from. He's trying to balance the holistic aspect of maybe having a positive name might influence on you in a positive way. Emmanuel the Hospital has a specialist department called infectious control that was established to monitor these types of outbreaks on wards, and especially in operating theater. They will, okay. Well, yes, they have it, but the question is it being ran efficiently? Is it a case where the people who supposed to be, Maureen, people who supposed to be working on that, are they working on it? There were previous cases in the hospital where they had outbreaks as well. And there were people who were here at the time who would have, as far as to my knowledge again, did an exceptional job at actually tracing it, finding it, and fixing it. Have they contacted that or those individuals to check and see, well, look, we got a similar thing, These individuals have gone on to other territories to do the same amazing work they've done here abroad, where they're appreciated perhaps even more. Have we reached out to say, look, you may go and come home for a minute, we got a problem, I heard there's a particular nurse, I won't call her name, but they know if what I'm saying is so, and this particular program makes its rounds, as I suspect it will to the necessary personnel, especially when you put the white man Clark face on the post and these thumbnail. I sure somebody gonna be more than happy to tell him. You should remember me though, because we had a conversation. I asked him specifically what he planned to do. We had a conversation and I told him, don't, you coming in here hot and sweaty, that's good. But if you say you're gonna fix it, fix it. Well, my question is, were beds ordered for the accident and emergency new wing? Were beds ordered? And in fact, I'm here checking the comments because I want to find out if one of y'all did post that as well. Why don't the hospital call the CDC and ask them a question? I think the number is on that same link I post, You may have to send that to my Google boss, man. I don't know if the politicians really serious about this thing or not, but Miss Motley, you gotta pay attention to this, man. This one right here. He said the Chinese immigrant workers are being housed at the St. Lucie facility. So wait a minute. Let me wait the coal up my eye, man, to see who this telling me this. Why? You're telling me that Chinese workers are being housed in St. Lucie facility. Question, are they using the beds that were bought? Or they didn't bring because a hospital bed is not a bed. A hospital bed isn't like a regular bed. It's a lot more, I'm sure it's a lot more expensive, especially because it has any mechanics, motors, and all that kind of stuff. Why can't the beds that were in St. Lucie be transferred to A&E? But more importantly, where the beds that was ordered in the first place, where the money for the beds or the beds, one of the two. But in the meantime, we can't transfer the beds from the clinic in St. Lucie back to A&E. And if so, the Chinese are sleeping on these fancy mechanical hospital beds. Is that what you're telling me? See, these are the questions we got to answer. This Barbados, listen, hey, somebody answer me here. What's going on? What is going on? Got doctors in Barbados that does home visits too. Very good. In fact, that's true. I do know one or two as well. There will always be bacteria and viruses within the hospital, but the level have to be closely monitored. Sometimes they have to close a particular operating theater and cancel operations. I totally agree. But here's the thing. If there's an outbreak, see, the issue is not the bacteria in the hospital. The issue is the fact that it may be an outbreak and nobody is saying anything, which means that people are already getting infected. People have already been infected. Perhaps people has already died as a result, and people are going to continue to die. Meanwhile, nobody is saying anything. There is something fundamentally wrong with that. And that's all I'm saying, man. Like we shouldn't even have to be expressing it like this. This should be something that is looked upon and they fixing and trying to fix this as soon as possible. This is a serious thing, family. I want y'all to make no mistake about it. This is a serious matter, and it would not become serious to Barbados and Barbadians until themselves or a family member goes to the hospital, and then you hear the shout, this is what's going on. Then, and usually only then when it hits home, you will hear something. Right now, the people on Facebook, you know what? I can leave that one alone. Because I ain't giving it no strength. We have more important issues to be back and forth and about in Barbados than the political aspect again. And speaking of political aspect, what y'all think? Y'all think the Prime Minister know about this situation? What's the role of politics in this whole thing? Is politics having an influence over this administration? It's the question. Just a question. There's an underlying issue with political influence on the hospital's administration. When the administrators are close to so-called high-rank government officials, when you got friends, you could speed dial numbers and stuff. It might cause folks to have a lack of accountability because they might feel to themselves, well, I ain't going to answer to you. I just got to call my people and get a pardon. But I think that the management aspects of things regarding this particular outbreak is reportedly falling on deaf ears. I think if they've been saying it for a year or over a year and they've been, I don't want to use the word complaining, but sharing their concerns and nothing has happened, well, there should be some questions being asked. Why does it seems like the complaints are going, on falling on deaf ears, or rather not even being taken seriously? Why is that? You know, the question is there a political connection between the two? Mr. Clark and whoever else, Googling whatever, why the government ain't taking this as serious as it I think it should. But then again, maybe I am misinformed, and maybe I'm unaware of the staff that's working and not getting paid, the patients that go in there and don't have a bed, not having any sheets, not having any gloves. And I've seen that myself. No gloves. I've seen people who came in there that were critical, and no one touched the individual because they had no gloves. And the person was bleeding. I'm thinking, all right, I understand the blood thing. I understand all that. But you mean to tell me you can watch this man stand here and bleed out because nobody want to touch him because we ain't got the gloves? How could a hospital not have gloves? Gauze. How could it not have gauze? Like, you got to be kidding me, man. Seriously. Seriously. Anyhow, what time is it? Well, with the politics involved, then the financial operation then going to have its challenges. It would have to. It would have to. So they expect this guy Clark to come and work magic. Mr. Worked International. Mr. Internationally known. I don't know if they found him. He applied for the job. I'm not even sure how he managed to get here in the first place, but they expect him to come and work magic. But the thing is this, even a magician on a stage typically has props. He has something to work with. This gentleman came here and found the situation as it is, had to work with it as it is. He had no props. He assumed he was going to get props, perhaps. I don't know. So my question, though, to him again is, were there beds ordered for the new A&E extension? And if so, where the beds? How much money was spent on beds? How much money was allocated for the beds? Transparency. Tell the people of Barbados how much money was allocated for the beds. That's the question. Right now, the whole thing, the operation of the hospital is definitely not efficient, and that's clearly an issue. It seems to be struggling to manage its resources effectively, and that is obvious. No gauze, no alcohol, no gloves. I mean, this situation with the outbreak is again, I can't help reiterate it enough. I like to think that the hospital lacks one thing. I remember a friend of mine a while ago was telling me that the leadership at the hospital, at the management level, especially regarding resources, a lot of friend thing be going on, who know who. In fact, at one point in time, there was a lady there called Sutherland. I'm not sure if she related to the other Sutherland, but I just thought it was interesting that they share that same name. That's not the name you heard. I never heard it before election, but again, these individuals who we think are strangers to the colonial powers are perhaps laying in the same bed with the overseers, because it would appear as if I should have to come on a podcast on YouTube to speak on this matter. This matter should have been addressed from the onset, from the inception of this becoming known to the relevant authorities. There is a particular, what was the word they used? Hold on, where did let it at? Hold on a second. Daffodil, what did it say? It says that terms and conditions of service department. There should be some terms and conditions that automatically kick in when there's an alleged bacteria loose in the hospital that is potentially causing illness and, worse yet, death. This should have been addressed effectively immediately. But I think at this point there may be some needs to rethink the current administration for obvious reasons. Because if the people that were put there to do the work and doing the work, and the work that should be doing ain't getting done, and people are being affected by it to the point where they are dying, shucks. Class action. Just file it and watch how fast people lose their job. Get retrenched. I think the public needs to demand answers at this point. Especially the people who depend on the QEH for major medical care. I think those are the ones we got to first get to. I think, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, Noel. Change the name will change the mentality of the people and how people think about the hospital service. I get you, Noel. That's why I said I get you. But I think the priority has to go first towards the care. Once we establish that, I suppose we can go ahead and fix the name. But definitely the care, Noel. The ports aren't checking who's traveling to Barbados. People travel with all kinds of illnesses without telling anyone. Yeah, no, I don't think they're checking that at all. Emmanuel, private healthcare is getting so expensive. Even when you have health insurance, you can imagine paying $5,500 for medication each month. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Let me read that again, bro. Can you imagine paying $5,400 for medication each month? Each month? That's the reality of someone close to me. Oh, man. Call me tomorrow, Maureen. That's all I got to tell you. Call me tomorrow. Like, you can't be serious. Greetings, Maria. Greetings. Shout out to Fade again, as always. BNC, y'all already know. The problem I have with the Barbados politicians is, how can you give the hospital in St. Lucie to the Chinese contractors? That tells you all that you all are nothing to the government. Well, you can't be vexed with the politicians in Barbados, Noel, because it's a plantocracy under the guise of democracy, which is the epitome of the hypocrisy. So, the people are just unaware. They're destroyed for lack of knowledge. And that's really what it boils down to. How are you to take care of people when there is also no equipment? They need a list of things needed to save lives, not just laundering money in construction. Oh man, what more can be said? The American CDC is like Donald Trump. They are full. Oh man, Noel, I ain't even getting to you on that CDC. I know, but reason I said it because I'm sure that they will at least shed some light on what's going on in QEH. If they do nothing about it, the Chinese can sleep on the floor on mats if needs are cots. I totally agree. That's why you asked the question, are the beds still in St. Lucie? If so, they should have sent them to the A&E. Like, where are the beds? Or were the beds transferred and sold at a reduced cost? Perhaps, you know what? Let me not even start that because I'm not even sure. Trump fired most of the people at the CDC and lots of them leave because of Trump. Well, greetings, Angela. Greetings. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like the page and subscribe to the page and share the thing for the algorithms to work the magic according to what they tell me to tell you. Make it happen. Maureen, $5,400 per month, that is a lot of money in meds. Chemo worth that amount of money. Yeah, Sean, but I don't know what that's about. Emmanuel, I was at the hospital back in September with my elderly mom. Several new beds were brought into several of the wards, but I can't say if A&E got any. I didn't see any. I see a lot more gurneys. I'm sure there are beds in A&E, but for the amount of space I saw, I don't know. Every space should have an allocated bed, so I don't see why there's even an issue. I mean, I saw rooms with 2 cots on the floor. So not even 1 cot and 1 bed. How can you clean a hospital with dirty water and wash hands to operate and make or cook food? That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Barbados government couldn't get the St. Lucie Hospital working for the citizens of Barbados, but they could find it fitting to give the medical facility to those Chinese contractors. What a damn shame. That hospital always scared me. You go there sick, but you're more afraid than anything. Yeah, it's serious, man. It's serious. It's serious. It is indeed serious. Um, strict infection control is required for specific staff and restrictions on visiting. Well, you know what? I'm not sure how the bacteria would have got into the hospital in the first place. I can't necessarily say that a visitor brought it. I can't say that a patient or staff. We don't even know. And so I think what we can definitely agree on, though, is that it needs to be addressed. The question is there a bacteria outbreak at the QEH? I think until we get the answers to that. In fact, this program should be what should I say? This should be an alert for the administrators at the QEH if there's an outbreak, that the people are now aware that there's an outbreak and we're having conversations about it. And it's no longer being kept inside. That's just a reality. And it should never have been kept in the first place. This should have been discussed from the inception. How long ago had this been going on? How many people died as a result of this? Did they all even do a study to see that, to see how, to try to identify which ward specifically? And if so, because I'm being told that even the children's ward, pediatric ward, imagine pediatric ward is one of the wards that are mostly affected by this bacteria. Can anybody tell me what the pediatric ward is for? When a nation or people turn their backs on God, what you all think will happen? You all looking to man for help. Wrong. Look to God. Man can only do what God allows him to do. Get your house in order. I totally agree, Richard. It's time to get your house in order. Fully. Yeah. That was Mr. Sutherland's wife, but she resigned. I remember she resigned. I wonder why someone resigned for such a coveted post with all the perks that come with it. Why did she? Well, then again, it might have been family matters and hopefully not medical. Clark is just there to control and manage funds allocated by the government. Manage the funds? Yeah, I guess. He is a magician. You say he's a magician. Thelma's saying, good night to you too, Thelma. Greetings to you. Greetings. Greetings. Greetings, people. Greetings to you too as well. Trump is about to mess with healthcare system in the USA in 2026. The Republicans just canceled Obamacare without having an insurance plan. People in the US is going to be worse off than Bajans. He's looking worse off. Well, I don't know if we already getting a meager amount of money, and I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's so meager. It may seem that way, but Barbadians end better off in healthcare than America. I highly doubt that. Highly. Greetings to you too, comrade. Greetings to you too, Beverly. Greetings, greetings. How comes you and Pedro always coming at the same time? I like I can go and check this out myself, yeah. See what's going on here. Beverly. Greetings, Bev. It's you and Pedro recently been jumping in around the same time. I gotta check this out, yeah. I gotta check this out. See what's going on, man. But nah, this is crazy, man. Please stay away from those GMO imported foods. Look, like I said, family, if there's an outbreak of bacteria in the QEH, and the QEH has a mandate to tell the people of Barbados, there should be some things that they're working on and trying their utmost best to help eradicate these issues. You know, that's just how I'm looking at it. If this if this was going on for over a year, who decided to not let the public know so we could fix this issue? And what's up with the level of accountability in terms of the management of the situation? Who's in charge? Who is in charge of resolving the outbreak in the hospital? Like, who's in charge of that? And why are solutions being ignored in terms of, you know, reaching out to other persons who might have a better degree of understanding than those who supposed to be the ones dealing with it? The situation in QEH is critical, you know what I'm saying? With the ongoing outbreak, dangerous bacteria infections, nah. If management is lacking, especially lacking of transparency and this political influence, and all this contribute towards this particular problem, and the hospital needs proper or new leadership that is skilled, not just bring your cousin or, you know, the mechanic down the road. You know what I'm saying? Right, Beverly? You can't just, nah, we need folks that got not just the passion, but the ability to get the job done properly. You know, I don't know, man. I think the Barbadian people deserve to know what's going on so they could take the proper precaution with themselves, their family, in terms of what is happening. And far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure others would agree, to be reassured about their safety, especially in a situation where, remember COVID, they were telling us about, you know, do this, do that, make sure we're safe, wash your hands. Every 2 days you saw a press conference telling you what to do. Now there's an outbreak, a potential outbreak, but there's an outbreak. According to white intel, y'all got to deal with that, man. I think that the level of urgency was not put in place, and perhaps there's a level of humility that needs to be brought forward to address this matter. And that the people of Barbados, the good people of Barbados, look, there was even programs on CBC evening. They had folks calling and stuff to discuss the health. Dr. Cave and these other stuff, these other individuals. What happened? You ain't hearing nothing about nothing. Seriously. Okay, Beverly, I see you. Oh. Sutherland is enjoying life in Ghana. She has some positions there, and yes, she is the wife of Dwight. So wait. She resigned from that job and got a different one. So hold up. So why did she resign? I ain't even getting into it, man. These folks get these high profile positions, get a salary, collect paper, probably do nothing. Then they leave and go get another position. You see why I tell you about this election and these. Wait till Wednesday night program, man. I didn't touch it tonight because I dedicated tonight for the hospital, the QEH, for the patients, the families. Go and look into it. Like I said, when the staff of the hospital are no longer safe, not that the patient should be safe as well, but when it reaches a stage where the patient ain't safe, the family visiting ain't safe, the medical staff who there 24/7 ain't safe, man, listen here, yeah. Listen here, something got to give, man. Something got to give. Beverly said the hospital is frightening to me. Beverly, you gotta go rewind the if you're now joining us, family, just for the record, if you're now tuning in, tonight's question is there a bacteria outbreak at the QEH? And based on the information we brought forward, you may have to go and watch it from the beginning. But there's a particular bacteria that's right now in the water. It's on different surfaces that is causing people serious illness. Those who have a compromised immune system. The worst part is that sepsis is, they told us it was wild. It was, it's in the hospital. But the truth is, there's a bacteria that's causing this. And unless you ask questions, your family might have been infected by it and may have transitioned as a result of it. But nobody's telling you this. They're labeling it as something else to misdirect you away from a common truth that your person or family died as a result of being in the hospital, which by itself is a whole lawsuit. Because if you know that there's a bacteria that's loose in the hospital that is literally affecting people, and you do nothing to stop it, let me not even say that. Let me rephrase it. And you're not at least informing the public, advising the public when you come on measures of precaution which precaution to take, or how to help your family members, by bringing perhaps water from the bottle, like somebody suggested earlier, rather than having them consume the water in the hospital or expose them to different areas in the hospital or certain wards that for a fact are contaminated, that that these wards contaminated, yet you still got people there. Well, geez, bread, like really, something got to give. Something's got to give. The young man, Vin Cherubin, that has passed away recently, his service is this weekend. He was an employee of the QEH, from what I understand. His transition is not sitting well. It's not sitting well. And so, to my knowledge, the QEH is in for a rude awakening, family. I'm telling you, this current administration, and it can only be this administration, well, guess what? Even if they're the ones responsible for overseeing the affairs of the QEH, I am making an appeal now to the other individuals who claim they want to do something for the people of Barbados. The Ralph Thorns, the Alex Mitchells, the other folks that that have the different parties, they're gonna have to step up now, though. Somebody have to go to the hospital and start to make an inquiry. What is going on? Go meet the Minister of Health. Go see the guy, whatsoever his name, and ask questions. Is this true? How can you assist to resolve the matter? Don't overlook it now. DLP, BLP, BB, whatever party you say you claim and you represent, the people of Barbados. Go and look into this and see if these questions that we brought up tonight on Politically Incorrect have any merit. And if they do have merit, let's see how we can find solutions to this. All they can call it is madness. I mean, the hospital got a bacteria outbreak and nobody ain't saying nothing. It's over a year now. People dying and being misdiagnosed. Families being lied to about their family members dying. And truth and the fact is they go in the hospital and literally the hospital is who killing them. And nobody in the hospital in a management position or senior position feel the need to tell Barbadians, look, we have a problem. Yeah. Wanna for real? The biggest problem in BIM is that it is governed by people who put in their families and friends in positions. Just evil, man. That's why things can't improve. Well, give me some suggestions, man. Looking back at the golden generation people in Barbados, the older generation people in Barbados, these older peoples were more healthier, happier, stronger, and wasn't into drugs to keep them so-called better. Yes. Yes, Beverly said no joiner. Okay, Bev. Like I'm telling you, Bev, though, it's been an interesting night. The bacteria is called. Let me see if I get it right for you. Burkholdia, Burkholdia, something or the other, man. Yeah, it's called a B. Sapitia. That's what it's called. Burkholderia. Yeah, Burkholderia. There you go. Burkholderia capacia, something like that. I'm working on it. But we had posted earlier, so you can't go wrong. The link to the CDC, I posted that in the comments, Beverly. In fact, I'll post it again for those joining. You go and look it up. And that's it on the screen, actually. In fact, hold on a minute. Let me see if I can play this really quick. It's a short video. I think so. Let me see if I play this. What happens? Hang on.
Okay. So that is also known as what? Burkholderia capacia. So it's a gram-negative, it's a rod shape, it's an aerobic bacteria that belongs to what? The Burkholderia capacia complex, which consists of other 20, or at least 20 different species, right? So this bacterium is primarily found in soil and water, and is known for its metabolic versatility and ability to degrade various environmental pollutants. Okay, so this Burkholderia capacia is an opportunistic pathogen. That means it only cause infections in you if you are immunocompromised. So most of the times you will have underlying disease conditions like what cystic fibrosis, chronic granulomatous disease in okay. It can now lead to what a condition known as what capacial syndrome. Okay, so capacial syndrome is characterized by what rapid decline in lung function and poor prognosis. So the bacterium is also known for its intrinsic resistance to many antibiotics. So it will now make the treatment very, very challenging.
Yes. So basically, they say the treatment it is kind of you can't really treat it with some bacteria antibiotics because apparently it isn't that easy to get rid of. It's very resistant to many of the antibiotics that they use at present. No, I thought that was a centipede just now. I thought I saw in my peripheral something crawling. When I check, it wasn't a centipede. At least if it was a centipede, he got away. But I've seen centipedes on this program many times while I'm doing a live, whether they crawl up my leg or I actually spot them in time to go on. Anyhow, if it is one, I get it after the program. But anyhow, family, the link is in the comments. Like I said, this is a serious matter, very serious matter. And I think that, I personally think that the questions were brought forward and there's a lot more that can be said. And I think that it needs to be, looked into. Barbados has the right to ask questions. Very, very serious, man. I agree, by the way, Thelma. It wasn't safe for the pensioners. It definitely wasn't safe for anybody. Something will give in 2026. QEH got two, that's the good for nothing minister. Pedro, the QEH is a serious, serious place, man. I right now we got to find ways to fix this problem, though. Seriously. We know the QEH is a death trap, but those at the QEH responsible for neglecting safety and health will pay a dreadful price. You call it a problem, they might be seeing it as a job well done. Yeah, you're right. No, I thought of that too. I thought, in fact, Alex said it earlier, and somebody else said the same thing earlier. It might be just part of the whole depopulation, measure. So Dr. Laura said the flu shot or COVID shot could treat that. Listen, Pedro, look here, man. If there's one person, me leave that alone. I don't have no faith in Dr. Lord, and I mean that from a personal perspective. I remember taking someone to his office. I remember taking someone to his office who needed some serious medical assistance. And because he came so highly recommended, but his diagnosis of the situation, you know what? Let me not divulge that one. Let's just say, like I said, I don't I don't really have the faith there. I don't have the faith there at all, man. Ras bacteria are caused by microscopic organisms that exist everywhere. Skin cut, wounds, bites, contaminated food, water, airborne, everything bacteria. We live with it daily. No, the issue isn't the bacteria. Well, we know that. But this particular bacteria is, like I said, it doesn't affect healthy people. Based on the research, you're going to look it up. In fact, let me put the name up here for you, man, so you can see it big and bold. Let me put the name up here for those who want to. Let me post it. I'm telling you, it might be a centipede for real, because I just felt something crawl over my leg. Okay, so we back up. I'm not sure what happened there, but good demons planning to wipe out more Barbadians. Be careful, the job they didn't get DMO. I would suggest that if you know you have a compromised immune system, stay away from the hospital, especially going to visit relatives or friends. Nah, Maureen, I with you. I with you on that one, man. We dealing with advice as well. Hear this, you all vote for a government without an opposition, so the BLP can do whatever they want. Like Althorn is only one of 29, has no power. I look at, man, again though, if he has the ability to go there and ask questions, he has a shadow government. He has a shadow government. He can go there and ask questions, and they have to give answers. They have no other choice. So we just let them get away with not giving answers, but they can be held accountable by individuals who go there seeking the information. Mr. Ennis would have been in their faces long ago. So where is Walcott? We must not forget that the IMF has a mandate for Barbados. Very interesting. Very interesting. Barbadians are asking questions, but the Barbados people isn't getting a response from the blacks running politician management in Barbados. Well, I tell my mother if she ever go back to he. Oh yeah, Pedro, I with you on that one, man. I Mr. Lord is only about money. Yeah, he said leave that alone. All right, Elder. I posted the name, which is funny because when I did post it, I'll post it again because that's when it just went down when I tried to post it just now. But I didn't know what happened. Anyhow, let me post this name here real quick. Hang on a second. So, Burkholderia capitia was the name of the bacteria. And if I butchering it, that's fine. You can see it there. Go look it up yourself. That's the name of the bacteria that is in question. Go check it out. Go check it out. Go check it out. Take a look, ask questions. And again, to the hospital, if this information is what it is, the Barbadian people want answers. Emmanuel, there are a lot of doctors who are misdiagnosing patients on a regular basis. They take your money, and by the time you catch yourself, your health is in serious decline and your money gone. Yo, Maureen, look, man, it is a sad reality, but some things need to change, and the politicians have the capacity to change. There's a video that I wanted to play. Maybe I'll play at the end. like I said, if I gotta play it shortly because I'm going to hour and a half, I want to wrap it up. Let me, in fact, but what that going to do? Richard, this is a response to Noel's comment regarding the drugs, the COVID drugs. So, Noel, no one has faith in the COVID drugs, okay, Noel? Not down here. You need to come home with some breadfruit and some mackerel or something, and Noel. You might be up there a little too long. The winter get into you, man. Time to come home. Anyhow, family, there's a video I wanted to play. Let me see if I find it. I won't get into the Trinidad thing tonight. I'll get back to that. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yes, a little 60-second video. I want to play this only because, again, right, it's shared established that. Let me play this. Add this to the screen. Hold on. Let me add this to the screen. That's at home, right?
If you in the northern worlds don't want additional migrants, and if you want global stability, and you don't want the risk of more pandemics, and you don't want the risk of more coups, and you don't want the risk of more violence and war, well, then the important thing to do is act proactively. And the proactive action is, will we be equal in this generation to the challenges that face us in a way that those who stood in World War II after the victory were equal to the challenges which faced them? They cannot be condemned because they were creatures of their times. And in their times, we just weren't part of the equation. But for today, where we know better and where we can do better, we must do better.
So, Ms. Motley, I say to you, in the resounding words that you spoke at whatever meeting this was, when you know better, then you got to do better. We talk about the youth of violence and gun violence. Right now, the gun violence in Barbados, I'm not sure the numbers, somewhere upward of 60, if I'm not mistaken. I wonder how many people died in the QEH this year, thus far, unnecessarily, as a result of mismanagement in the administering medication from illnesses that would have been contracted while there as a result of bacteria or poor hygiene or or whatever reason. How many people would have met their untimely demise as a result of malpractice? I bet the numbers might be higher than the street violence. So if we pointing at the youth in the streets and the police in the streets trying to, and the soldiers need to be given power now because it's so crazy, who will watch over the QEH administration, the political influence, the outbreak of bacteria, and God knows what else goes on, the missing beds? Like who's looking out for this? Like who's paying attention? Anyhow, family, that's it for me tonight. Politically incorrect. We out of here. That's it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's all said and done, as a political party, BLP and all the members and ministers and all the supporters, believe you me, if the major health institution of this country, this island, this nation is compromised, it don't matter who running the country, it don't matter which party in charge, because when sickness break out, trust me when I tell you, ain't nobody gonna be caring whether you're BLP or DLP or whatever party. The question gonna be, can you save me? Can you help me? That's gonna be the question. So we could talk chalk. Vote this body and vote that body, yeah? You better pay attention. How you got a healthcare system? Maybe Miss Morty did not know this. If she did not know this, be advised, Miss Morty, You know, your staff can't be trusted. You need to go check out the hospital yourself because somebody lying. Because if there's an outbreak in the hospital, man, it ain't a secret no more. On that note, Haile Selassie the First, Empress Waziremene, want perfect balance, man. Like, we can't let the elderly go there and get sick and die. Like, we can't just sit back and watch that. Let's see how we can help. How we can help each other. Let's help each other, man. Straight, all right? Man, I see a few more comments here. Maureen Manor, have you heard what the European Union is planning regarding the Caribbean countries who have CBI programs, possibly no free entry into the European Union? Yeah, well, I'm hearing a lot of things coming out. Again, a lot of information. Someone even told me that elections is going to be called in January. Like I said, family, the minute they tell you look left, look right. The hospital was a problem a long time ago, and nothing is being done. Well, folks getting paid though, big money. Yeah, you should practice what you preach. That's why I had to play that one, man. That's why I had to play that one, man. I had to play that one. I could not play that, man. Like I said, there's a lot of information on this stuff. Let us not be dismayed. I'm gonna play a tune though. I'm looking for a tune to play. I don't know. I here looking for tune now, man. I'm looking for one. I go into the archives. I'm going to the archives. I go into the well, I was in the archives. I'm in the archives, but I don't know. This one might work. This might work. This might work. This. I'm looking for a tune, man. Four Seasons. Equal rights and justice. This world needs that right now. Equal rights and justice. Maureen said, please, family, like and share because Emmanuel forgets to remind us. I thank you, Maureen. I'm listening to you. I don't normally say it, but people telling me I should say it. So I say it because people tell me I should say it. But like I said, family, if you on this page and you appreciate love, the energy, the information, tell a friend and tell a friend, man. You know what I'm saying? To tell a friend and tell a friend. Like, share, and subscribe, that kind of stuff. Yes, Maureen, I said it. And yes, make sure other people know what's going on, man. All right, Pedro. Let me see if I can find some. I was just looking at. It's funny because I was just looking at some music here that I know you would definitely appreciate, love. Let me go dig up something, man. Hold on. You know which one I can pull up though, man. You should know which one I can pull up already, man, without question. Hold on. I gonna drop this one in here, man. I gonna drop this one in here. Hold on. Let me drop this one for you, Pedro. Hang on a second. That's for Pedro,
I
man.
wouldn't go in, I have no time to reverse. Them can't get me down. Could never get me down.
Beverly.
It's and vipers around. They try to push me to the ground.
Fidel.
Them can't get me down.
Big tune.
Could never get me down.
Thanks this one, Pedro.
Who wears the crown? The one who sits and David strong.
Cheese on bread.
Say what you wanna say. That is not my concern. I will never lose my.
Tell a friend to tell a friend, family.
Why wouldn't I go in? I have no.
Politically incorrect, man.
Them can't get me down. Could never get me down.
Be prepared, family.
Send vipers around.
Pay attention, pay attention.
Try to push me to the ground.
Wash your hands.
Can't get me down.
Stay healthy.
Never get me down.
Build your immune system,
Who
man.
wears the crown?
Fullness, up
Who
fullness.
sits and David strong. Now, today for you, tomorrow for me, that's how it goes. Sometime you win, sometime you lose, you better know. Life is a cycle, naturally, that's how it flows. I am an overcomer, so I can't be overthrown now. Every day I give just thanks and praise. But he's the one who give me land today. When I'm timid, he makes me brave. To fight against those who try to put me in a grave. Them can't get me down. Could never get me down. Hypocrites and vipers around. They try to push me to the ground. Yeah, them can't get me down. Could never get me down. I praise the one who wears the crown. The one who sits and David strong. Them up enemy can't study me. For no reason at all they criticize me. They can't trouble me, neither worry me. I'm protected by the power of the Trinity.
Rastafari.
That the infertile side.
Can't worry, we.
And you know them can't spoil.
Can't worry, we.
Bubble and food it a boil. I'm a survivor, I tell you all the while.
Big tune, man.
Get me down.
Big tune, man.
Could never get me down.
You hear the choir, man.
Send vipers around. They try to push me to the ground. Yeah, them can't get me down.
Can't get me down, family.
Could never get me down.
Could never get me down,
I
man.
praise the one who wears the crown. The one who sits in David strong.
Remember, this isn't 2026, huh?
Propagandas and rumors them spread.
We get tight with it.
Try them best to get me frustrated.
13 months in a year,
But I know
not 12
written and said,
in our cycle.
that your children shall bear bread. Who Jah bless, no one can curse. Give thanks and praises.
Get in tune with nature.
When I'm thirsty, Jah quench my thirst.
Yes, on Wednesday night for sure.
No
Man.
time to reverse. Them can't get me down. Could never get me down.
More preparation skills, man.
Send vipers around.
What we do in these times, family?
Try to push me to the ground.
Turn to the Most High God.
Can't get me down. Could never get me down. I praise the one who wears the crown. The one who sits in David strong. Now, today for you, tomorrow for me, that's how it goes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, you better know. Life is a cycle, naturally, that's how it flows. I am an overcomer, so I can't be overthrown now. Every day I give just thanks and praise. For he's the one who gives me.
Have an upful and joyful night, family. Y'all already know, man. One love.